and you're going to say like a second thing, all right?
Stand by. Welcome to Amityville Warriors basketball on the Amityville Warriors Broadcasting Network. We're in for a good game today as the Shoreham Wading River Wildcats get set to take on the Amityville Warriors here at the Fred Williams Memorial Gym. Well, based on last time, what do you think we can expect from this game, Anthony and Brian?
Earlier in the year, Amityville faced Shoreham, and they had a very convincing win of the score of 64 to 41, and they held Shoreham to under 15 points in each quarter. I expect him to just push the tempo and get as many points up on the board, and their defense will end up winning them the game, in my opinion.
Well, coming into this one, Amityville is coming off a solid 66 to 52 win against Bayport Blue Point, so you know that they're riding the momentum coming into the gym today. And Shoreham is going to look to outshoot them because, you know, most of Amityville's game has been predominantly on the inside. You know, they've been physical, and, you know, they've been able to take over games using their physicality. Well, you know, Coach Gordon Thomas has always made rebounds a focal point for this group. The Shoreham team, not necessarily big, but, you know, anybody can box out. Doesn't matter what size you are. You think Amityville's going to do a good job of getting those rebounds today?
Honestly, I don't know how it'll go. I'm pretty sure that Coach Gordon Thomas is going to look forward to seeing how his team performs out there, both on the offensive and defensive board. And overall, you know, he's going to have to adjust to, you know, how Shoreham plays.
I think that they'll crash the boards and maybe even start putting up more second chance points. I think second chance points is going to be a big vital point in this game, and if Shoreham can't crash the glass against Amityville, I don't know if they have a chance.
And the sad part is the Amityville's basketball team has always been and will always be an up-tempo team. And other teams usually make the mistake of trying to match the pace. But for this Shoreham team, I don't think that should be the case for them. What do you see?
Yeah, I think that Shoreham should maybe slow down the pace, maybe play more defensive, maybe even switch up their defense, because when they faced off earlier, they just had their will. Devad Lucas had 22 points, and they just Amityville picked apart Shoreham's defense, and they just kept driving to the hole, and they scored at will.
Yeah, like Anthony said, you know, Shoreham's gonna need everyone on the team to, you know, put out effort. You know, Shoreham needs playmakers, and you know, obviously that there was a lack of that last time. These two guys met off, and you know, overall, you know, Shoreham's gonna need to play with the same tenacity that Amityville was playing with, or else you know, they'll be leaving the gym with a loss.
And, you know, Brian, you talked earlier about Devad Lucas scoring 22 points in that last Shoreham game. But in comparison, Thomas Bell for the Shoreham team scored 19 points. And 19 points at any point is big for any team. And we'll go to Elliot Herrera right now for our sideline report coming into the game.
I talked to Miles Goddard earlier, and he told me that he is excited and pumped up for this game against Shoreham. Back to you guys.
Miles Goddard, really big part of this Amityville offense. He's been scoring it out of the gym the last couple of games. Had a couple 30-point games back-to-back. And do you think he's one of the key players to watch in today's matchup?
Yeah, I think that Miles Goddard especially is just, he's an uprising player, and he's only in the 10th grade and scoring 30-plus in back-to-back games. I think that's pretty impressive, and I feel like if they want to have, you know, the same outcome that they did before, I feel like Devad Lucas and Miles Goddard need to be the two main focal points of this offense, and they need to feed them the ball.
Besides Miles Goddard and Devad Lucas, I think the key player to watch for from Amityville is DeAndre Thomas. You know, when Miles Goddard has been out with injuries, and you know, overall he's come off the bench. You know, he's been able to produce efficiently each and every time that he's had to step in for Miles. And overall, I just feel like he's the underdog in this matchup here.
You know, coming into this game, coincidentally, the game earlier this season against Shoreham Wading River was Amityville's first win of the season after they came off a bad loss against Albany Academy. So we'll see how they look now, but right now, here's a sports update from our anchor, Joshua Fields.
I'm Joshua Fields, and this is your pregame sports update. Tonight, the Timberwolves face off against the 28-16 Philadelphia 76ers at 7 o'clock. At the same time, the Suns play in Indiana against the Pacers. The Pacers are coming off of a a 110 to 102 win against the Miami Heat and are looking for their second straight win. At 9 o'clock starts the battle in Denver. The Golden State Warriors face off against the leading Denver Nuggets. At 10:30, the Lakers play against the Chicago Bulls. The Lakers have lost 7 out of their last 10 games since the LeBron James injury. Let's see if they can pull the win at home. I'm Joshua Fields, and this has been your pregame sports update.
Thank you, Joshua. Okay, now this Amityville Warriors team right now, 7-5 overall, and 5-3 in the league. It's been a very rocky season for them. Coincidentally, again, and as I said, they had their first win of the season against Shoreham at the beginning of the season. Right now, how do you think Amityville's going to make the playoffs? They have 8 games left. Key games against Miller Place and Mount Sinai and Wyandanch. Both losses to Miller Place and Mount Sinai and Wyandanch this season. What do you think they should do to make the playoffs and probably get a good seed?
Honestly, I think one of the main keys for them to just keep this momentum on for the rest of the season and end up making the playoffs is just feeding to their main scorers. And they're not the best three-point shooting team, but let it fly once in a while. They're a great rebounding team, and they could crash the glass over most of the teams in League 5, and they could just put it back up. So I think maybe shooting a little more on the perimeter, and even just getting more rebounds. Make sure you box out, and I think that's what Coach Gordon Thomas wants from his boys.
They do have a lot of shooters, especially on their bench. Something we haven't seen Coach Gordon Thomas do a lot in the past seasons, play about 9 men deep through their bench. They have a lot of shooters on their bench, Kamari Huff being one of them, Zach Miles. What do you think they could do to help probably spur them on for the rest of the season?
When they're done, you're muted. When they're done, you got to get out.
Playing more of their guys will help their win. I just feel like that when players get fatigued, they just need a break, and Coach Gordon Thomas just needs to realize that playing more of his guys on the bench that could shoot and that could perform for this team could help to give the other guys more stamina for the end of the game to close it out, and to just put more of a big lead on there, because as you said, there are a lot of good shooters on the bench and they need to utilize them.
Yeah, like I said, the bench players have come in not with the best chemistry, but that's what you're gonna get out of your bench players. With a second team, you don't expect that much experience within games, but overall, over time, that's what the concept of a bench is for. Being able to put in players for your starters that going to come in and do their jobs and do what they need to do, and simply that's what people like Zachary Miles, Kamari Huff have been able to do, and Gordon Thomas is going to look to keep that going forward in order to beat teams at Miller Place, Mount Sinai, and Wyandanch, which they're very capable of doing. All right, and this has been your pregame sports report for Amityville Warriors Broadcasting Network. Warriors basketball coming up next. I'm Noah Deej, and this has been Anthony Adams and Brian Canales with your pregame show. Warriors basketball coming up next. Welcome to Amityville. My name is Devontae Rickenbacker, and I'm here with my colleague
Justin Bethia.
The band is back together, baby. The dynamic duo, Justin Bethia and Devontae Rickenbacker, back here with another game.
You know it, you know it.
Today, Amityville will be hosting Shoreham Wading River. We are about 18 minutes and counting away from the tip. Amityville coming in here off of a strong win against East Hampton. Amityville coming off of building some nice chemistry going into the rest of the season. So, Justin, how do you feel about Amityville and the playoff push that they can make?
I think that Amityville has a 50-50 chance right now. If they keep their head in the game and just stay focused, they will be able to make it. I believe 100%.
Justin,
Yes.
last game, Amityville took the dub. Amityville won the game, but what do you think Amityville has to do better in how they win and how they carry themselves?
Well, from last I've seen, they weren't paying attention to where their opponents were on the court. Everybody needs to, if they're playing zones, play zones, pay attention. If they're playing man-to-man, stick with your man. Stick with your man. I cannot stress that enough, because the last team that I seen them play with were just getting fast break after fast break after fast break, and that's how they won. And I think that was against Miller Place, and that was just crazy for me to see Amityville just letting Miller Place just keep running fast breaks on them.
Yeah, Amityville, they played a great performance against East Hampton, and I was here for the game. The East Hampton game, they looked sharp in the first half, and their defense settled in, and they started taking over the game. This game against Shoreham, Amityville comes in here 7-5 right now. They're 5-3 in the league. Shoreham is 1-7. How do you feel that since Shoreham doesn't have a lot of wins this season, how do you think that Shoreham's going to come in here?
Well, can I just tell you, Shoreham's last game, they versed Wyandanch, and their lead scorer, dropping 24 points on Wyandanch, not even getting to play the full game, was injured. Tristan Costello was injured, and he was sent to the hospital. So without their lead scorer, I don't know how they're going to do. They also have some great players. Their point guard, Thomas Bell, he scored 11 points. And they have a monster 6'4" sophomore center, Adam Grolick. He scored 14 points, and he is just I couldn't believe my ears. I never had doubt in my own ears before, ever. And hearing a 6'4" sophomore is just like, whoa, what are they feeding this kid at home?
As the Amityville boys, as you can see, they're running in right now. Amityville boys, they look good right now. They look determined. A lot of whole determination on their face. We have a couple of seniors on this team. DeAndre Thomas, Zachary Miles. How do you think that the two of them work together in the backcourt?
Well, I think that they work well. When the team isn't playing as individual players, the team itself works like a well-oiled machine. That's how Coach Gordon Thomas taught them to play. So when they do play that way and they follow the directions the way they're supposed to and listen to their coach, they play well. Last game against East Hampton, Devad Lucas scored 17 points. Zach Miles scored 13 points, and DeAndre Thomas with a whopping 19 points. So they're obviously doing something right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're obviously doing something right, and I'm just looking forward to see if they keep up the magic. Keep it going, because that'd be great to see.
Now we will have a nice interview with Coach Paul, the assistant head coach and JV head coach of the Amityville Varsity basketball team. Coach, how do you feel about the game today and where your team's at right now?
We're not real happy about where the team is right now. We think that we're going to win this game. If we concentrate on the things that we do well, we'll be fine.
I think so as well.
How do you feel about your senior leaders here on the team, Zach and DeAndre? How do you feel about them?
I think they can be a little more vocal. We need a little more leadership from them, and I think with that we'll be fine. But we definitely need a little more leadership from both of those guys.
Coach, after you put in a lot of hard work as the assistant coach here, you got to go down and coach the JV boys. How do you feel about the game down at the JV level?
I think we'll win that game. A lot of the same. I need a lot of hard work from these guys and a lot of defense, and I think we'll be successful.
So how do you feel that your team is back at full health? How does that feel to come into this game with all your firepower?
Guys, it feels great. It feels great because when you lose, nobody knows that people are hurt, that this is happening and that's happening. They just see that there's an L in the loss column. But when we're back full tilt, I think we're going to be right back where we need to be. And also, this is the beginning of the second half of the season. So we can't lose any more games. So we're back full strength, and we should be successful.
I have no doubt that you guys will get to where you guys want to be. Full 100% faith in you guys. I'm 100% confident.
Well, thank you, Coach Paul, for the nice interview, and good luck to you guys.
Well,
Thank you so much.
You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you. You too. That was a great interview. I think that the game is going to go well for them. You know, that, like I said, they're back at full power, so we got to see what's going on. And I actually never thought about that, how he says that all you see is just an L in the column. You know, you don't think about who's hurt and what happened, and you know how the team is doing itself, like as individual players, not only just like strategies and teamwork. It really comes down to the health of the team.
Devontae Rickenbacker here with my colleague
Justin Bethia.
Yes, we are back and we are ready for this game against it's Amityville versus Shoreham Wading River. Shoreham Wading River, about 10 minutes away from tip-off. Shoreham made this nice drive out here, nice long drive, about an hour and 30 minutes. You know, I went out there for football one time and I was crying because I woke up and it was a long ride. And I woke up, I had just eaten a sandwich and I'm like, come on, man, kind of hungry. Yeah, coming from Shoreham all the way out here to Amityville and vice versa it takes a toll on your body, mentally
Sure
coming
does.
straight out of school, especially, and having to go back to school tomorrow. Them having to make the drive back out there, and you don't want to make the drive all the way out here and take an L, or like a really bad one either. So
100%. You know, that drive can either be motivating or tiring. So it just depends on how you decide to interpret it or take that ride, and what you decide to do in that time, whether you mentally prepare yourself or really get ready for let that ride tire you out. So it just depends on what kind of depends on how you take the ride.
what is it? We have Coach Cohan with us from Shoreham Wading River. Coach, excited to have you here. How do you feel about the game today and where your team is at?
Excited to play a game. Obviously, it's going to be a good match. Amityville's been playing really well lately. We're missing a couple of guys today, so it's going to be tough. But, we've been playing well. We're very young, very inexperienced. So I think we've learned a lot this year, and we're trying to get better every game.
Yeah, Coach, how does it feel to lose your lead scorer, Tristan Costello, from your last game, dropping 24 points on Wine Dance?
Somebody, next man up. We're gonna miss not having Tristan play, but hopefully somebody will pick it up because Tristan's been having a real good spurt lately.
And how is Tristan doing in his recovery?
He's doing very well. Hopefully we're gonna get back Friday. We'll see about that, but thank you for asking.
I wish him good luck.
We
Coach,
appreciate it.
6 games. It's been a tough road for you guys, 1-6. How do you feel that if you guys win this game, that you guys will get back on track?
Obviously, it would be a great win for us. We've been playing pretty well. The game we played against Amityville the first time, it was a relatively close game. I think it was 6 or 8 points with about 2.5 minutes ago, and then Amityville went on a great run. I think a 12-0 run and beat us. Miller Place got us early, beat us up pretty good. We were actually being wine danced the last game going in the fourth quarter, and they had a great run, beat us by a decent score. But everything else, if you look, we were right in games. We've lost 2 games by 1 point, another game by 5, another game by 7. So we've been in games. We just haven't found a way yet to finish the game up.
So what do you think is the keys for your team to be able to win this game right here?
Avoid turnovers and rebound the ball. It's pretty simplistic, but that realistically, that's what we got to do in the game.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard, under pressure, and you have other characters on the team that you have to deal with, and if your team isn't acting as one, it is hard for like something simple like that to be done. And so I understand it 100%.
Yeah, we're not naturally we're not big. We don't start a lot of big players, so we're kind of undersized as it is. And missing Tristan, who's a very good rebounder, that's going to make a big difference today. So we're going to have the next guy up, and hopefully we'll be able to box out and play good defense.
I mean, you still have a fair shot. You have Thomas Bell with 11 points and Adam Grolick, the 6'4" sophomore, and the center. He must be a great addition to the team.
Both of them, yeah. And then Tristan's always also a sophomore, and we're young, and hopefully they're gaining good experience with that.
Well, thank you, Coach, for the interview. We'd like to say thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much, you guys.
Thank
Gentlemen,
you. Good luck.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
That was Coach Cohan for us.
We have 7 minutes left.
Devontae Rickenbacker here with my colleague.
Justin Bethia.
We, at Amityville, back at it again against Shoreham. Shout out the home team. Amityville won over Shoreham, as Coach mentioned, 64-41. And Devod Lucas had 22 in that game. And Thomas Bell scored 19 for Shoreham. Thomas Bell is a sophomore, as Coach had mentioned. They're undersized, inexperienced. So they're going to have a tough game today in this battle. 1-7 in the league, and Amityville would need this game. It's a nice game for Amityville to win here at the and against the home crowd. Yeah.
I mean, like the assistant coach for Amityville said, you have to. They have to win these games. It's now or never at this point. We can't keep playing around. They have to do what they have to do to be able to play and make it to the playoffs, and then make it to states if they have what it takes. Again, it's not hard. We have they have a very talented team. It's not like they don't have good players. They have all the tools. They just really it's a mental game. They have to use their heads. They have to keep going and keep their heads in the game in order to win.
I think Amityville needs to be explosive today to win this game. I think they need to control the boards, and they need to work at a relatively, not fast pace, but a relatively steady pace to win this game, and then kick it up when they need to turn it up. Amityville needs to crash the boards a lot. They have a lot of size against this team, so offensive rebound shouldn't be a problem for them.
I just hope that they beat Shoreham the last time. I hope that they don't think that it's an automatic win in the bag, because anything can happen, and especially if you have that mindset going into a game thinking that you don't have to play at your full potential, because that's really the downfall of teams, just thinking that you have it when nothing is ever promised.
Yes, nothing is ever promised, Justin. That is the key. 5 minutes left until tip-off, Amityville versus Shoreham. Devontae Rickenbacker here.
The game...
The girls basketball, sorry to cut you off, Justin,
no,
had a very, very, very good win against Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai was the third seed in that conference, that League 6 of the girls in Suffolk County, as the girls came out and stole one by 46-42. Jordan Tobin, the leading scorer in that game, 17 and 10. She's been a monster on the boards, and Justin, I know you haven't been here for the girls, but they're looking good right now. They're looking real good right now.
I've heard. I've been keeping my tabs with them. The last time I seen the girls play, again, I think it's the same thing with the boys team, they just have to, remember their basics to teamwork and also just play a little bit more strategically. Not everybody's a shooter and not everybody's a big man, but you gotta all play to their strengths.
Do your job. Do your job. My football coach used to say that to me all the time. Do your job and we'll win this game.
Right.
Shoreham, they've got to come in here and they've got to do their job. Shoreham, they want this game. They've lost 6 in a row. As Coach mentioned, they've been relatively close games. They've been blown out maybe once or twice in the last 6 games. So what they need to do is they need to come in here and they need to come hard. If they want to win this game, they got to crash the boards. They got to get out. They got some small guys, so they got to be fast. They got to be working fast because Amityville big men. Not saying that they're undersized or they're slow or anything. It's just those guys on the wing and the guard. They have to push the pace so that you don't give Amityville time to get back and get set in their defense. Because when Amityville's defense is on, it's on, and there's no light switch.
Any home game is a big game for every team. If you see Devontae, you could look out and just see that the crowd is filling out. The game hasn't even started yet, and we're gonna have a great turnout, a really great turnout. And it's not done. The crowd is still growing.
Justin had an opportunity to speak to Coach, and we will go to it.
Never say no. What's up, George?
All right. My name is Justin Bethia. I am here with the head coach Gordon Thomas. So, how do you feel about the win with Bayport, 66-52?
I felt that anytime you get a win on the road is good. Okay, there were times where we played really well. We moved the ball well. We just have to make sure that we play hard every possession, all the time, offensively and defensively.
So, how do you feel about Steven coming off hot on the bench? 17 points.
Steven is coming along well. He's raw. So there's a lot of things that he still has to learn, but he's very athletic and he has a lot of potential, and he's starting to get it. And this is a fine time for him to start changing his game and improving.
How do you feel about the health of the team at this point in the season?
Yeah, we went through some injuries and it cost us, but right now, we're full strength, and I pray every day that we stay healthy. And going into the second half of the season, it's a good test. I told the guys, we don't lose any more games.
So, how do you feel about this game coming up with Shoreham?
Shoreham, well, games like this, they're hard to prepare for because especially, the guys feel last time we played them, we beat them by 23 points. So automatically they say, oh, we got to win. You never can say that because you never know what's going to happen. All right, we got to play each game as if we're playing for a championship, and that's why I told them today. They're coming into our gym, so we got to play hard. Again, every possession, we play hard.
So, besides just the work of the team, what are some keys to winning this game?
Like I tell our guys every game, we have to play with high intensity, high enthusiasm. We have to play every possession. Get on the floor, get those 50-50 balls, we have to rebound and we have to box out. Once we do all that stuff, we're fine.
How do you feel about the rest of the season, going forward?
Well, like I said, we're healthy again, and we're a good team when we play together as a team. All right. A lot of times these guys go off and they start, playing in the individual games, and that's not going to win championships. Okay. We have to improve our defense. Okay, and we have to box out. But right now, we're playing good ball. We just have to maintain it going into the end of the season and to the playoffs.
Devontae Rickenbacker here with my colleague
Justin Bethia.
We are here in the Fred Williams Memorial Gym. We are here for the tip-off against Amityville and Shoreham Wading River. Justin, this game is going to be action-packed as we have the starting lineups introduced by Mr. Asbell. Mr. Asbell is probably one of the greatest I've ever heard.
Man, the myth, the legend. Oh, my gosh, Mr. Asbell.
As Shoreham Wading River's lineup gets introduced.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this game. I want to see how this plays out. Is Shoreham going to step up and break their losing streak, or is is Amityville gonna continue on and keep doing good for the second half of their season? You know,
Yeah.
this is a really important game for both teams.
Tristan Costello out for Shoreham Wading River. Very tough loss. He scores a lot. Nice size. He's a sophomore. He's about 6'1", 6'2", you know. Pushes the pace for them. Out sadly for them, but Amityville's still gonna press on with this game. As Amityville's starting lineup is introduced. As the crowd, normal clap. We have some of the state champ alumni in the building. Eddie Calderon, Jale Code, and Josh Serena.
It's really it's crazy to see this team here this year and go from the explosive team last year to this team here. You know, it's like different teams. We have good talent in both sides, but one is just new with the chemistry, and one has been developed for a really long time. So it's interesting that Amityville is playing the way they are, and I'm just proud. I'm proud of Amityville.
Yeah, Amityville, they're doing very well right now. They're starting to pick up the pace. The second half of the season, they can't lose any more games. This playoff push wants to be real. They gotta make it real.
They have to. They cannot lack. We are almost at the tip-off. How do you feel? I'm pumped. I'm excited.
First game back, Justin.
Yeah.
First game back.
Yeah.
Yeah, first game back like you Drake, man. Back to back. You know the vibes.
You already know. Can't leave my team.
As we will now stand for the national anthem. Devontae Rickenbacker here at Fredman Williams Memorial Gym. Wait, what? Oh. Excuse us. Devontae Rickenbacker here live in the Fred Williams Memorial Gym with my colleague,
Justin Bethia.
We are getting ready for this tip-off. Amityville versus Shoreham Wading River. Shoreham Wading River Wildcats come in here 1-7 in the league, 4-8 overall, and Amityville comes in here 5-3 in the league and 7-5 overall. Amityville, Devad Lucas will jump off for the tip. Devad is about 6'7". And number 42
For Shoreham.
Shoreham, Adam Grolek. Devad Lucas wins the tip. Zach Miles with the ball. Zach Miles calls out a play. Throws it to Lucas. Lucas at the top of the key to Williamson. Miles throws a lob. Devad misses as DeAndre Thomas cleans up the board and one. DeAndre Thomas will go to the line for one.
DeAndre Thomas already starting up Amityville with 2. I'm telling you, DeAndre, he's come a long way. I've watched him from last year to this year, and the beginning of the season he got almost no playing time, and then he goes to being one of the starting players and really putting in that work.
Yes. As he sinks the first. As Amityville up with a full court pressure. The Wildcats set up their offense, harassing defense from Amityville. We have a pick right. Pushes off the pick. Bounce pass, cut in left as he misses the lefty layup. As Miles Goddard pushes the ball up. He slows down. He throws the ball to Zach Miles. Zach Miles has the ball. Throws it into Lucas. Lucas out to Miles. Miles swings left. He Euro steps right. He passes over to Williamson. Williamson resets in and out as he throws the ball up. He misses. Miles Goddard on the rebound. Miles Goddard cleans the board up. Amityville off to a strong start, 5-0, 7 minutes left in the first quarter. As number 25 for Shoreham, he goes lefty coast to coast as he makes the quick bucket. 5-2, Amityville. 6:50 left in this first quarter. Zachary Miles throws the ball into the high post to Miles. Miles inside to Devad. Devad contested. Devad shoots the ball. He misses. Another offensive rebound as we have a over-the-back foul called on Devad Lucas. (5-2) Amityville. 6:42 left in this first quarter.
Amityville's coming out really explosive. This is exactly the kind of energy that you said that we needed, Devontae, and I'm really excited and I'm happy. I'm glad for them.
Thomas Bell with the ball. Has to pick up his defense. Christian Mercarco with the ball. He moves right. Hands the ball off to Miles Goddard, pushes the ball up for Amityville. He Euro steps right. He goes in with the lefty layup, and he makes it. 7-5, 6:10 left in the first quarter. Jalen Williamson on the half-court defense. 7-2, score correction, excuse me. Shoreham sets up the play, pick right, go as Miles Goddard steps out on the line on the defense. Thomas Bell shoots the three, and he misses. DeAndre Thomas comes down with the rebound, throws it out. Jalen Williamson pushes the ball, throws it to Zachary Miles. Zachary Miles head fake. He Euro steps as the acrobatic layup. He misses. Devad Lucas on the rebound and the foul.
That was a crazy lay. That was something spectacular. If he would have made that, still good.
As we have a timeout, 30-second timeout by the Storm Wading River coach. He's probably not happy by the way his team is playing defense right now.
This was an explosive start. It's very fast paced. You know, nothing too crazy, but both teams are coming out with that energy that they need. I'm just excited. I want to see how this plays out. It's always the start of the game that you never really know how it's going to end out, but everybody's anticipating and getting their guesses in.
Of course, Amityville started off, as I said, fast, steady pace. As Joe Owens is going to check into the game for Jalen Williamson.
This game for sure, Thomas Bell really has to step up with their lead scorer out, Tristan Costello, and he missed the three just now. He really just needs to stay focused, and he'll start landing his shots and do what he does. Again, he scored 11 points, so he's a good player.
Devad Lucas at the line. Makes the first. 8-2, Amityville up. 5:39 left in this first quarter. Devad Lucas at the line for one. Devad misses the free throw as we have a blocking foul in the backcourt. Zach Miles.
Gordon Thomas is screaming at them to stay with their man.
Cook to inbound the ball. Okay. Matt McCarco with the ball as we have harassing defense from DeAndre Thomas on the left wing. As Thomas Bell gets the ball, Bell has a nice handle, over there. As Shoreham looking to move right, they set up the play, harassing defense by Joseph Owens. As a full court defense just dribbling, we have 10 seconds on the shot clock, and we have a partial block by DeAndre Thomas. Devon Lucas looking to push the ball. He's looking across court. He moves right. He misses. Grunwalk with the ball and the board and the ball. 8-2, Amityville up. 4:50 left in this first quarter. Shoreham Wading River looks to set up a play. They move right, throw it into the middle, side out, reset at the top of the key, looking for the shooter in the corner. He shoots from the top of the key. He misses. As Zach Miles looks to be shaken up a little bit on that play. 8-2, Amityville up. 4:35 left in this first quarter.
I can tell that Gordon Thomas really worked on the team. They got their hands out more and they're like swatting at every pass, and it's just great to see how they're playing right now.
Devon Lucas into the low post. He switches it back out to DeAndre Thomas. DeAndre Thomas throws it into Zachary Miles in the corner, and Zach Miles makes the layup. 10-2 Amityville as Shoreham looks to slow down the ball, looks for a shooter in the corner. Thomas Bell open at the top of the key. He shoots a three, and he makes it straight on. 10-5 Amityville as Stephen Augustine gets off the bench looking to check into this game. Miles with the ball, throws it over to Lucas. Lucas resets the top of the key, swings it back to Owens. Owens at the top of the key, throws it into the low post, and it's stripped. As McCarco will reset the play. As Shoreham moves in, he moves right, throws it over to the left corner, resets at the left wing. He moves to the left corner, trying to go baseline, and he steps out of bounds. We have a sideline report from our reporter, Elliot.
In the huddle earlier, the coaches said something about being on the floor, which I think means more defense. He also started to say that this is our house and to play the game stronger and better. Back to you, Devontae.
Elliot on that great story. Thank you, Elliot.
Thank you.
Joe Owens throws the ball over to the left wing, into the high post. Stephen Augustine with a nice bucket. Stephen Augustine had 17 and 10 in the last game against Bayport, what led to a victory. As we have a backcourt, and Amityville's defense is being harassing right now. We have 2:58 left in this first quarter. 12-5, Amityville up.
This is crazy. Amityville is playing with just such great teamwork right now.
Zach Miles with the ball. Joseph Owens with the save. Reset the play from coach. Stephen Augustine throws it over. Joe Owens passes. Passes to Zach Miles. Zach Miles looks to throw a lob to Stephen. Stephen misses the lob, but Joseph Owens on the rebound, and the fancy pass to DeAndre Thomas. DeAndre Thomas has early 5 points on this game. 14-5, 2:17 left in this first quarter. Stephen Augustine on the defense for Amityville. Shoreham Wading River looking to set up a play, but they seem to cannot. They look to move right, switch his hands on the left wing, back to the right high post, moves in, he spins right, he spins left, and he's blocked by Stephen Augustine, and the crowd seems to like the defense that Amityville is playing right now. Joe Owens pushes the ball up, throws it over to DeAndre Thomas. DeAndre Thomas shoots, he misses. Stephen Augustine on the board, and the bucket.
and one. Amityville is just really playing so explosive. You can see that their chemistry is just growing. The last time I seen Amityville, they definitely were not playing like this, and now they're throwing their fancy passes and they're maneuvering like a well-oiled machine. This is so crazy to watch. It's just extremely, it's just great.
16-5, Amityville up. 1:46 left in this first quarter. Stephen Augustine sinks the free throws. Amityville with a full court press. As we have we have some confusion on the floor. We have an apparent foul on Zach Miles. That's his second foul in this first quarter. 17-5, Amityville.
It seemed like the refs were disagreeing with each other there, and that's what was causing the confusion. Amityville took Zach out. Oh.
As Amityville caught sleeping in the backcourt. 17-7, Amityville up. 1:20 left in the first quarter. As Jalen Williamson checks into the game, he throws the ball into Miles Goddard. Miles Goddard misses the shot. We have a full court press from Amityville as they've been playing harassing defense. As Amityville moves the ball up, Thomas Bell with the ball for Shoreham. Thomas Bell looking to be the key player today as their top scorer is out. Jalen Williamson with the switch. Shoreham looks to move right. They move to a right wing. They switch around. They move back to the right top of the key. Right top of the key, they shoot, and they miss. Miles Goddard on the rebound. Pushes the ball to DeAndre Thomas. DeAndre Thomas misses the layup, but Miles Goddard on the rebound and the make. Thomas Bell makes another layup as Amityville caught sleeping again. 40 seconds left in this first quarter. 19-9, Amityville up. 29 seconds left on the shot clock. Joe Owens looks to throw the ball in the corner. Right back out to the top of the key. Into Stephen Augustine. Stephen Augustine makes the bucket. Stephen Augustine's come off the bench, and he's had a good day right now. He's having a great first quarter. As we have a hard screen in the backcourt. We have a ball loose. Amityville gets it. Shoreham gets it back. We have an air ball. 15 seconds left. Joe Owens takes the ball coast to coast. He misses the shot, but will go to the line for two. 21-9, Amityville up. 10 seconds left in this first quarter.
This is crazy to watch. Again, I cannot stress it enough. Their chemistry has grown tremendously from the last time I've seen them, and just to watch them use their strength. Again, they're playing to their strengths. They have two big men in the paint, and they're just lobbing it every single time for them to make those layups because they have the height advantage over them. Why shoot threes when you have the height?
Joe Owens makes the first. 22-9, Amityville up. 10 seconds left in the first quarter. Shout out to the Amityville cheerleaders, Amityville faithful in the building. Joe Owens makes the second. 23-9. As we have Shoreham looking for the ball. 5 seconds left. Moves right, picks left, calling for a cut. Shoots the three, and he misses. As Amityville up big, 23-9 in this first quarter. We will now go to Josh Fields with a break.
I'm Joshua Fields, and this is your in-game sports update. For all you football fans out there, you'll want to stay home come Sunday. Back-to-back playoff games see the Saints versus the Rams, followed by the Chiefs versus the Patriots. Both quarterbacks for the Saints and Rams are at the top of their games. The Rams quarterback had 483 total yards, while the Saints quarterback had a total of 487 yards. You won't want to miss this. I'm Joshua Fields, and that was your in-game sports update.
Let's turn it This is Zach Miles, guard for the Amityville Warriors basketball team, and you're listening to Warriors basketball on the Amityville Broadcasting Network.
We are back live with the broadcast. Devontae Rickenbacker here with my colleague
Justin Bethia.
Justin can introduce himself. I'm sorry, Justin. 23-9, Amityville up big in this first quarter. Now going into second quarter, 8 minutes. The clock is about to start. Amityville's about to step back on the floor. Shoreham, Wading River, coming into this game. They are 4-8 overall, and Amityville is 7-5. Amityville looks to come out here, and they're pushing the pace. Justin, how do you feel about the way Amityville's playing right now?
Oh my gosh, I am so happy with them right now. I'm just proud to see them play this way. It reminds me, this score, and at this point in the game, it reminds me of a certain basketball team last year, state champions. They played very similar to this, so it's giving me flashbacks to the good times.
Stephen Augustine with a nice 9 points in the first half to lead all scorers right now. As we'll get back to the action, Thomas Bell with the ball. As Shoreham puts it into the high post. As we have Shoreham with the bucket. 23-11, 7:38 left in this second quarter. Joe Owens with the ball. Jalen into the high post, into the down low, as we have Stephen Augustine with another bucket. Shoreham Wading River will push the ball up right now. Moves right. He uses a nice crossover. As in and out, Hezzy. As Amityville